Vacation season is nearly upon us. I know I'm going away soon, and I'm going to be treating myself to the luxe upgrades that I deserve with Quince's high-quality travel essentials and at fair prices. Like lightweight European linen styles from $30, washable silk tops and comfy lounge sets, with premium luggage options and stylish tote bags to carry it all. And the best part, all Quince items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. Because by partnering directly with top factories, Quince cuts the cost of the middleman and then passes the savings on to us. And Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices and premium fabrics and finishes. And I love that. My favorite right now, get the organic gauze shirt. My favorite is the Bayside stripe. Get it in that one. You're going to love it. For your next trip, treat yourself to the luxe upgrades that you deserve from Quince. Go to quince.com/KKC for 365-day returns plus free shipping on your order. That's QUINCE.com/KKC to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/KKC. Looking for a new beautiful, durable, and sustainably made rug at an accessible price? You've got to check out Revival Rugs. I just swapped out my son's rug. I got an 8x10 in sweatshirt. It is so soft on your feet. And if you're a parent like me, you're going to want to check out their popular line of washable rugs because they have the same high quality look and feel as a traditional rug. If your kids or your pets get your rug dirty, you can just pop it in the washing machine and it comes out fresh and clean. And I love that. Plus, they're a sustainable company. They use eco-friendly materials, including wool, cotton, recycled denim, and recycled polyester. It's a brand you can feel good about, and they've got affordable prices so your wallet can feel good too. Visit revivalrugs.com/realitylife and use the code KateCasey20 for 20% off your first order. That's revivalrugs.com/realitylife, code KateCasey20. One more time, revivalrugs.com/realitylife with code KateCasey20 to save 20% off your order.
The amazing Kate Casey.
Welcome back to another episode of Reality Life with Kate Casey. I hope that you had a great Easter holiday, and I am so excited about all of the week's episodes that are coming your way. Now, I have to also say, you've got to check out my What to Watch list for this week because at the top of the list, I recommend a great new series on Netflix. It's called Race for the Crown. It's about the horse racing industry. Now, I knew absolutely minimal about the horse race industry. I know I've covered a documentary about it before, and that was not in the same way that the Box to Box team does such a beautiful job of telling stories about the people that are at the peak of their career in different sports. So, for example, in Full Swing, you're going to get a window into the best players in golf. Well, in this case, they show you a number of different people who work in the horse racing industry. And I'm telling you, they have the most interesting personalities. And because of that, I find that I care about the sport now. So I'll just say this. There is this one team owner, and he reminds me so much of someone who would be like the husband of a Real Housewife of New Jersey. I'm talking like probably has a tanning bed in his house, full, huge chains, designer sunglasses. It airs Tuesday the 22nd. And I'm telling you, it's a great conversation starter. I have found after watching the first few episodes that I keep bringing up in conversation aspects of the sport and then the different personalities. So Race for the Crown, you're going to love that. Of course, you could always go to katecasey.substack.com to get all the archive lists as well, because I'm telling you, you're bound to find something that you may have missed, a reality show or documentary. I'm challenging you to just scroll through and then just find a random tab on that What to Watch list from weeks or maybe months or years ago and see if you've watched everything on the list. You're going to find something in every category. So sports, true crime, dating, reality shows. I've got something for everybody. So make sure that you are subscribed at katecasey.substack.com. Okay, in this episode, I'm going to talk about 2 different true crime documentaries that I came across. Now, one was actually a suggestion by a listener. I had actually never seen it before. And let me tell you, I've watched so many different documentaries over the years. But sometimes something gets buried in a platform. And what's great about these 2 documentaries is that they're available to watch on so many different platforms. When a true crime documentary first comes out, there's some contractual agreement where they sit on one platform for a period of time. And as time goes on, it opens the opportunity to watch on other platforms. So you can watch both of these documentaries on at least 3 different platforms. And also, I can find a lot of documentaries on YouTube if a couple years have gone by. So make sure that, again, you look at that list, kkc.substack.com, but also reach out to me if you find something that you think I may have missed, because I'm always looking for new things to watch and to cover. So the first one is called Who Killed the Lyon Sisters? This airs on Max, Apple TV Plus, and Prime. I was surprised I had never heard about this because it takes place in Maryland. I grew up in the suburbs of Philly and I went to school in DC. And I sometimes feel like stories like this, which is apparently a huge missing persons case in the DC area, I would have thought I would have come across it. So this documentary is based on a book, a best-selling book by author Mark Bowden. He is also involved in the documentary as well. So it is a detailed investigation into the 1975 disappearance of Sheila and Catherine Lyon, 2 sisters in Wheaton, Maryland, whose case was reopened after nearly 40 years when a police detective came across a potential lead. It's one of these cold case stories that I found so interesting. So John and Mary Lyon lived on Pliers Mill Road in Kensington, Maryland, a suburb of Washington, D.C. They had 4 children, Jay, Joseph, Sheila, and Catherine. John was a well-known radio personality at WMAL-FM, and Mary was a homemaker. In 1975, Jay was 15 years old. The youngest sibling, Joseph, was 9. Sheila was 12 years old, and Catherine 10. Both sisters were days away from celebrating their 13th and 11th birthdays, and both had known their parents had planned to take them out for a special meal for their birthdays. According to their mother, neither girl could wait for their upcoming occasion. March 25th, 1975 was the second day of school spring vacation. Shortly after eating breakfast, Jay and Joseph visited a local basketball court, and Catherine and Sheila opted to walk to the Wheaton Plaza Shopping Center to browse Easter exhibits and meet friends who frequently socialized at this location. When Mary Lyons overheard her daughter's plans, she suggested, "Why don't you stop off and get some pizza?" The girls left their home between 11 a.m. and midday, and both were told to be home by their 4 p.m. curfew. The Wheaton Plaza Shopping Center was located approximately half a mile from the Lyon household. Both girls were seen by eyewitnesses talking with an unidentified middle-aged man close to the Orange Bowl less than an hour after they were believed to have arrived at the shopping center. Now, what they said about this man was that he was carrying what looked like a briefcase, and he had a microphone with him, like he was interviewing people, namely kids. Their older brother, Jay, later informed investigators that he had seen his sisters eating pizza together at the same eatery, although his sisters were alone. So Jay's sighting of his sisters is believed to have occurred after the girls had spoken with that middle-aged individual. A friend of the sisters, a girl slightly older than Sheila named Danette Shea, also described to detectives how shortly before the sisters were last seen within the shopping center, a young, long-haired man had followed and stared at Shea, and she had also observed that this individual was leering at the Lyon sisters. These sightings occurred approximately the same as the sisters and other children who had spoken with this man who had the microphone. Shortly after 2 p.m., Catherine and Sheila were seen walking home from the shopping center. James Mann, a local resident, was also at the mall that day. He may have been the one to have last seen the sisters. He recalled waving to them as they passed his house on the corner of Drum Avenue and Devon Place that afternoon. Now, by 5:45, Mary Lyon begins to make dinner, and she starts to feel slightly annoyed that her daughters had not returned home by that time. Now, that annoyance rapidly develops into panic, and by 7 p.m., police were notified of the girls' disappearance. An extensive search was immediately implemented, and the Lyon family initiated round-the-clock vigil, whereby a family member would invariably be within arm's reach of the telephone. So police rapidly determined that the girls' disappearance was involuntary. This intense search to locate the children was immediately implemented, as mentioned. You've got police and neighbors fanning out across Kensington Heights searching for clues. They're going into crawl spaces. They check the sewer drains. And with the assistance of search and rescue dogs, an extensive search of terrain surrounding both the shopping center and the Lyon household was implemented. I'm off to Hawaii soon, and I've been looking for great dresses, suits, bags, and sandals for my trip. You know who else needs stuff? My almost 16-year-old daughter. Now, where can I find all of those things in one place? Revolve. And I know that you love Revolve too. Over 1,200 brands and 100,000 styles from across high-end, emerging, and exclusive labels in fashion, beauty, and home goods. Consistently offering the latest and most sought-after trends in fashion from top brands like Lovers and Friends, Love Shack Fancy, Misa, and Zimmermann. I just ordered a pink Japanese dress, a gold clutch, gold sandals, and a monogram necklace, and I might even wear it to my niece's graduation too. Authentic, high-quality products, new arrivals daily, inclusive sizing. From last-minute getaways to party dressing and seasonal upgrades, Revolve has you covered with fast 2-day shipping and easy returns, all on them. And for a limited time, you can shop a curated selection of my favorite styles at revolve.com/KateCasey and receive 15% off your first order with code KateCasey. That's revolve.com/KateCasey to shop my top picks and get 15% off your first order with code KateCasey. The offer is only valid for a limited time, so do not miss out. If you were to look at my tote bag, you would find my essentials, sunblock for my fair skin, about 14 lipsticks, hair elastics, my phone, and Liquid IV. My goal this year has been to keep up my hydration, and Liquid IV is a must-have hydration made easy. True to fruit flavors that keep you hydrated, and you can find all your favorite hydration multiplier flavors on their website, from lemon lime to pina colada, or you can choose from their line of sugar-free flavors like raspberry lemonade, white peach, and rainbow sherbet. 3 times the electrolytes of the leading sports drink, 8 essential vitamins and nutrients, and they're always non-GMO, vegan, gluten-free, dairy-free, and soy-free. So you too can break the mold and own your own ritual. Just 1 stick and 16 ounce of water hydrates better than water alone. So ready up for a long day with extraordinary hydration from Liquid IV. Get 20% off your first order of Liquid IV when you go to liquidiv.com and use the code KateCasey at checkout. That's 20% off your first order with the code KateCasey at liquidiv.com. Now, the search and rescue dogs did detect a trail that the sisters had likely taken from the shopping center toward the perimeter of a parking lot adjacent to a department store close to the premises. But the trail ended at that location. So a reward was put up for this girl's safe return. Now, sometime after the girls disappeared, suspicion fell on a child molester by the name of Ray Molesky. As Mark Bowden explained to the Washington Post, the case had haunted the Montgomery County Police Department. It was a pebble in the department's shoe. So you've got generations of detectives coming and going, trying to take a crack at solving this case. And periodically, a new team would start over. They would comb through the many boxes of the yellowing evidence, hoping to find something that they had missed. Well, there was a ray of hope that emerged because Detective Chris Homrock stumbled upon a file he had never seen before. It was a 6-page transcript of a statement by an 18-year-old named Lloyd Lee Welch. On April 1st, 1975, Welch, a long-haired drifter with drug and alcohol problems, had contacted Montgomery County Police. So this is just days after, 6 days after the girls had disappeared. Now, he calls into the Montgomery County Police to say that he had witnessed the Lyon sisters' abduction. Officers had dismissed this elaborate, overly detailed account as a lie, an attempt to insinuate himself into the story so he could play the hero and then he could collect the reward money. But nearly 40 years later, the cold case squad wondered, maybe he had really seen something. At the end of his statement, he had said that the kidnapper walked with a limp. So did the man the detectives at the time considered their top suspect. They found Lloyd Welch in Delaware at the tail end of a 33-year prison term for molesting a 10-year-old girl, a fact that further piqued their interest. So, on October 16th, 2013, Detective Dave Davis travels with Chris Homrock and Montgomery Deputy State Attorneys Pete Feeney to Dover, Delaware to interview Lloyd Welch. Now, he stunned Dave with the first words out of his mouth. I know why you're here. You're here about those 2 missing girls. Well, in that first session, Lloyd denies any involvement with the girls' disappearance. Now that he's like, I didn't kill anybody. I didn't sexually assault anybody. I didn't do anything to those girls. I didn't have much to tell. But then he went on talking. And after a full day of interrogation, he let slip something that caught the detective's attention. The squad had been working on the assumption that Lloyd had witnessed or possibly assisted in the girl's abduction by that molester, Ray Molesky. Wrapping up the session, Dave made a final stab at getting Lloyd to reveal something. All right, I think we're pretty much done, he said, but what I wanted to ask, your opinion only, what do you think of Molesky? What do you think he did to those girls? Personally, Lloyd asked. Yeah, I'm asking for your opinion. Well, my opinion is that he killed them, sexually assaulted them, and probably burned them. I don't know. Now, in the adjacent room, Chris and Pete look at each other and they're like, who says burn them? So during other sessions with Davis and Hamrock, and later also detectives Katie Leggett and Mark Janney, Welsh lied elaborately and repeatedly about his connection to the Lyon case, so he's going back and forth. He eventually admitted that he had helped kidnap the girls, but insisted that the crime had been planned and carried out by others in his own family. First naming a cousin, then an uncle, then his father, who he had said had abused him sexually as a child. So now this opens the door. Is he lying, or is his whole family involved in this too? In the summer of 2014, the Cold Case Squad begins this extensive probe of the entire Welsh family. And what the detectives found shocked them. The family had two branches, one in Hyattsville, Maryland, but the other was in Virginia, 5 hours southwest on this secluded hilltop in Thaxton, Virginia, a place that the locals called Taylor's Mountain. The family had deeply disturbing stories of abuse, and much about Dick Welch, Lloyd's uncle. Now, although Dick denied involvement, it was piquing their interest how much stories of abuse this family had. And Dick's wife would eventually be charged with organizing family efforts to stonewall the investigation. Lloyd's cousin Teddy Welsh, the first family member he named as the girl's kidnapper, though Teddy was only 11 at the time, had run off as a boy, just disappeared from his own house and moved in with a middle-aged man, a man who abused him. But in this strange turn of events, he later moved in when he was a married father himself with his sons into that man's home. And of course, the man abused his children. You've got two other cousins, Henry Parker and his sister Connie Parker Akers, still living near the family property on Taylor's Mountain. And they're telling stories of abuse too. Both would prove to be helpful if reluctant witnesses to the strange burning of a bloody duffel bag in a bonfire on Taylor's Mountain that they said was delivered there by Lloyd around 1975 in March. So in 2014, the Montgomery County Police Department Cold Case Squad and FBI agents in the Baltimore Division named a person of interest in the disappearance of the sisters. They said that Lloyd Lee Welsh, aka Michael Welsh, was noticed paying attention to the sisters the afternoon that they disappeared. He was a convicted sex offender. He had been in prison, as mentioned, in Delaware since 1997. And they had said he traveled extensively through the U.S. from the 70s through the mid-90s, working as a ride operator for a carnival company, often set up at malls. He was arrested in several states on charges of sexual offenses against young girls, and they listed a timeline of his whereabouts from 1974 to 1997 with hopes that others would come forward with information. Now later, they would go back to that property on the mountain, and although luminol testing upon the floors and outer walls of the household basement of Welsh's uncle, Uncle Dick, had proved negative, a similar May 2015 forensic examination of the rear room of the basement of his father's home revealed extensive traces of blood from the concrete floor to the ceiling, indicating that someone or an animal had been at one point killed in that location. Further DNA testing revealed the bloodstains to be of human origin, though the samples were such an advanced state of degradation, no possible genealogical analysis could be conducted. So Welsh ended up being indicted for their murders in July of 2015. He pled guilty to 2 counts of first-degree murder in September 2017 via plea bargain in which he admitted participating in their girls' abduction, but not their sexual assault and their murder. He was sentenced to 2 concurrent terms of 48 years imprisonment. Now, the bodies of Catherine and Sheila Lyon have never been found, but you can only imagine the devastation that family experienced and their surviving 2 brothers. So you can watch that again. It is called Who Killed the Lyon Sisters. It's on Max and Apple TV Plus and Prime. And again, a case that just haunted the DC area. It's unthinkable. All those years later, think 2 little girls went to the mall and just disappeared.
It's home project season, and Wayfair is the best kept secret for all things renovation. Whether you're making a little update like a new kitchen cabinet hardware or doing a full renovation, Wayfair has stylish and quality home improvement products for every budget. We live near the beach, so we love coastal decor. Our home is bright and white with blue and neutral tones. And we just recently changed the decor in some of the kids' rooms, and we just found great night tables for Sutton and Caroline's rooms. We loved all of the options available. The Wayfair website is so easy to use, and I could not believe the great prices. There's something for every style and every home, no matter your space or budget. Wayfair makes it easy to tackle your spring home goals with endless inspiration for every space and budget, whether you need a light refresh or an organizational overhaul. Free and easy delivery, even on the big stuff. They even help you set it up. Find all of your home improvement must-haves, from flooring to light fixtures to faucets to hardware, all in one convenient place. Shop the best selection of home improvement online. Get renovating with Wayfair. Head to wayfair.com right now. That's WAYFAIR.com. Wayfair. Every style, every home.
Craving your next action-packed adventure? Audible delivers thrills of every kind on your command, like Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir, where a lone astronaut must save humanity from extinction, narrated with stunning intensity by Ray Porter. From electrifying suspense and daring quest to spine-tingling horror and romance in far-off realms, unleash your adventurous side with gripping titles that'll keep you guessing. Discover exclusive Audible originals, hotly anticipated new releases, and must-listen bestsellers that hook you from the first minute. Because Audible knows there's no greater thrill than the one that speaks to you. Discover what lies beyond the edge of your seat. Start your free 30-day trial at audible.com/WonderyUS. That's audible.com/WonderyUS.
The second one was a suggestion from Allison. It's called The Lie, The Murder of Grace Millane. This is on Apple TV Plus and Amazon Prime. I believe you can also find it on YouTube. Grace Millane was from Wickford, Essex, and had recently graduated from the University of Lincoln with a bachelor's degree in advertising and marketing, and was on a backpack tour during her gap year. She was on a 2-week stay in New Zealand after spending 6 weeks in South America. When she arrived in New Zealand on November 20th, 2018, she bombarded her family with photographs and messages of her adventures. She traveled around the Upper North Island and arrived in Auckland on November 30th, 2018. At 9 p.m. on December 1st, 2018, on the eve of her 22nd birthday, she was seen on Victoria Street in Auckland's Central Business District, and 15 minutes later was seen via closed caption TV at Sky City. She was last seen at 9:41 p.m. on the City Life Hotel on Queen Street with a man by the name of Jesse Kempson, whom she met on Tinder. Her parents became concerned after she did not reply to birthday wishes they sent to her on December 2nd, and police started investigating after she was reported missing by her parents 3 days later. Now, by December 8th, the police said that they were treating the case as a homicide investigation. A day later, on December 9th, 2018, her body was found west of central Auckland. The investigation began with Grace's social media activity. Again, she'd been messaging friends during her date and even the days prior to it. So she'd been messaging her friends during her date with Kempson, who, again, she met on Tinder, expressing how well they were connecting. However, she stopped responding to messages wishing her a happy birthday the next day. Auckland police identified him as the person of interest after discovering he was the last person to comment on Grace's recent Facebook post, which is pretty weird. Closed caption footage from the City Life Hotel showed Grace and Kempson entering a building together on the night of her disappearance. However, there was no footage of her leaving, which was unusual for a hotel that typically had cameras in its elevators. A search warrant was executed at Kempson's hotel room, where forensic investigators used luminol to detect bloodstains. The presence of significant blood evidence in the room contradicted his initial claims that he had parted ways with Grace and no further contact with her. Further analysis revealed that Kempson had purchased a suitcase, cleaning products, and rented a car shortly after Grace's death. He was also seen renting a carpet cleaning machine, suggesting attempts to clean the crime scene. Initially, Kempson denied any involvement in Grace's disappearance, claiming they had parted ways after their date. However, being confronted with the physical evidence, he changed his whole story, and he said that Grace had died accidentally during consensual rough sex. So during the investigation, police discovered that Jesse Kempson had been involved in previous sexual assaults. A British woman came forward after recognizing him in media reports related to Grace's murder, and she reported that he had assaulted her during a date in April of 2018. Now, this revelation led to further investigations uncovering a pattern of predatory behavior. Through meticulous collection and analysis of digital and physical evidence, along with the identification of inconsistencies in his statements, investigators were able to build a compelling case that led to his conviction for Grace's murder. During trial in 2019, 3 female witnesses, whom he had also met through Tinder, testified that he was very aggressive with them as well. A pathologist testified that a post-mortem examination of Grace's body had found bruising consistent with someone who had been restrained. The trial lasted 3 weeks. The jury, which consisted of 7 women and 5 men, returned a guilty verdict after deliberating for just 5 hours. Several members of the jury reportedly wept following the verdict. And in February of 2020, Kempson was sentenced to life in prison with a minimum non-parole period of 17 years. So the Grace Millane case was the subject of the award-winning 2021 book, Missing Persons. It is often referred to as the Tinder killer case. In the aftermath of Grace's death, her mother and cousin founded the charity Love Grace to help women affected by domestic violence. The charity collects handbags and fills them with toiletries for victims of abuse. So that is the second story. I found it very compelling, very important watch. And if you watch Tinder Swindler, I think this is one you would also want to watch. It's called The Lie, The Murder of Grace Millane. And again, you can watch it on Apple TV+, Amazon Prime, and I do believe you can also find it on YouTube. So 2 new documentaries for you to watch, very compelling cases. Again, make sure that you are subscribed to this podcast. Make sure that you leave a 5-star review. Please join the Facebook group Reality Life with Kate Casey. And then also check out my What to Watch list at katecasey.substack.com. And also bonus episodes. Check them out as well. I will give you more behind the scenes stories. Go to Patreon, patreon.com/KateCasey. And then make sure that you follow me on social media. I'm on Instagram at KateCaseyCA, TikTok, it's Kate Casey, and Twitter, Threads, and Blue Sky at Kate Casey.
Some people get a wild haircut or book a spontaneous trip when life throws them a curveball. But Molly? Well, she dove headfirst into a world of no-strings-attached sex, secret rendezvous, forbidden affairs, and unforgettable adventures. And together, we tell every juicy detail in Dying for Sex, Wondery's award-winning podcast that's now streaming on a TV near you, starring Michelle Williams and Jenny Slate. And to top it off, we're dropping brand new bonus episodes where I sit down with the cast to spill all the spicy secrets. Desire, friendship, self-discovery, and the ultimate bucket list of pleasure. This is a story that had everyone talking. Listen to the original Dying for Sex and brand new episodes on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can binge the original series before anyone else and completely ad-free on Wondery Plus.